Hello my friends, welcome back to Clarity in the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel I like to share all my crazy emotional and physical ups and downs on this journey of a lifetime against obesity. So if that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to like this video on the way in and subscribe for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started.
Follow me from the past into the future. Let's be in the present. I don't want to sweat it. I just want to start all over. Just want to start all over. All over.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm so glad that you stopped to check in on me. This is week 11 of my GLP-1 weight loss journey. So if you are new here, my name is Tammy. I lost over 200 pounds on a ketogenic diet from 2017 to 2020. I had skin removal surgery in 2021, and since then, I have not been able to recreate the magic that was keto for me back in 2017. And I have had just a lot of regain. It started out with 10 pounds a year until this last year I went through some really stressful times and started putting on 10 pounds a month, and that was when I started to panic and started to look into GLP-1 medications. And when I did, I thought, why didn't I do this sooner? So here we are. If you're wondering, I am on a compounded Tirzepatide. I buy mine through BrelloHealth.com. There is a link in the description if you are wanting to get started with Brello. I will be doing a lot more advertising for them really soon. I just became a Brello partner, and I'm going to have a 6-month contract of working with them, to help them create their ad content, which is pretty crazy. This is probably the coolest thing that has happened to me on this channel, and I'm really grateful because it just kind of happened because I got lucky yet again. And it seems like that somebody up there is always kind of looking out for me when it comes to my weight loss journey. And if it wasn't for God, I don't think I would have started this channel. I don't think that any of this would have happened, and I wouldn't be here talking to you today. And what I am doing here is I'm just sharing my experience so that you guys can get an idea of what people like me, and I'm sure like you, who are all constantly trying to figure out this beast of obesity that we are struggling with our whole lives, the different things that we can try and the different things that might or might not work for you. So I'm just sharing my experience, my journey. None of this is medical advice. Please consider all of this to be for entertainment purposes only. And I hope that you just feel like we're building a community here of people that are supporting each other in weight loss, because it's really, really hard when people don't support you and when people question you. So with all of that being said, this week was not a really good week for me. I know last week you guys know that I was struggling emotionally and I decided to raise my dose. One of the nice things about doing a compounded Tirzepatide versus having name brand with the pens is that I can kind of choose to move my dose up a little bit at a time versus having to make the big jump to the next level, if you know what I'm saying. So if you know anything about GLP-1 dosing, they usually start at a low dose and then they gradually increase as your body begins to acclimate. I have not yet reached what Eli Lilly trials have deemed the most therapeutic doses, and of course I'm trying to go as slowly as I can, but last week I realized I really needed to move up, and I did, and I moved up to 5.5 milligrams this week. And this week was hard for many reasons, some of which is that I've been going through a little bit of stress, and it's also been my cycle, which I normally don't struggle on my actual cycle, but this one has been kind of weird. I kind of hung on for longer than usual, and the scale was just kind of wonky this week. Like, it was kind of weirder than normal, up and down and up and down and up and down, which was kind of weird. And I mean, that's normal for me, like, during ovulation. I see a lot of that fluctuation. I don't necessarily usually see it during my cycle, but I mean, go figure. I am 50. I'm almost 51. I'll be 51 next month. Who knows what's going on with my hormones? Let us be real. I really do not know if it's hormonal or if it's in relation to my lymphedema, my swelling that I have post tummy tuck surgery or not. I mean, there's so many factors into play. And I will say that today, myself, I am struggling, not necessarily because of the scale or the medication or any of that, but because my son, who is on a mission in Ecuador, is currently in the hospital. And I was trying really hard to wait to film this video to when I got an update from him on what the doctors found, because he went into the hospital yesterday and I was able to talk to him quite a lot. But he's not responding to my messages now. And of course, this mama brain is gone a little bit crazy. And at the time of this filming, I don't have an update for you. So I hate to break it to you. You guys might not find out if he's okay or not until next week. I was trying really hard to not leave you guys hanging that way, because I know in the vlog also, I'm just talking about how I'm, dealing with it, but there's not going to be a resolution in the video. So I'm confident he's probably okay, and that maybe the reason he's not answering me anymore was maybe they had to transfer him to a different hospital that was a little bit more advanced, because he's kind of in a third world country right now, and he was really, really scared that he was going to get sicker from being in the hospital because of their practices. He could tell it wasn't very cleanly, and he was just been kind of worried about that. So it's possible they just moved him and he didn't have time to tell me, and he doesn't have cell phone service to text moms and stuff like that. The only time he can actually talk to me is usually only on one day a week, which was yesterday, and it's possible it's partially that. Maybe he's not allowed to tell me what's going on. I don't know. I would think that a medical emergency would kind of trump that, but I don't really know the rules about that kind of thing, because he's been out 9 months and this is the first time he's gotten sick. I really wish he'd answer me so that I just stop thinking about all of the things. It could be emergency surgery. So he went in because he had stomach pain all week. I just figured he probably caught a bug, because it's not very cleanly there. I'm kind of shocked he hasn't caught a bug, let's be honest, up until now. I kind of expected this in the beginning. Not 9 months in. I thought we were kind of to the time where he's gotten used to everything and if he wasn't going to get sick. He did tell us he was having some, lower intestinal cramping last week. And I told him, I'm well, keep an eye on it. Stay hydrated. You know me with he knows. I sent him with Relight. He knows better than to let himself get dehydrated. But my child is my child. He does what he wants. And he did end up dehydrated. He made it all through the week. He still taught all of his people. Even the day he went to the ER, was still teaching people. And then he went to the ER when it was time for him to be on his preparation day, which is his day off, basically. Went in there and they basically were surprised he could still stand up with dehydration because of how dehydrated he was. They were worried it was something, a bacterial, so they put him on Cipro and they put him on a Tylenol IV drip. And he said he didn't have a fever, so I'm guessing he must have been in a lot of pain. I don't know. When I talk to him, he seems fine. He doesn't look that bad. Maybe a little pale and thin, but he doesn't look sick. I don't know. And then I talked this morning. He was supposed to see the doctor this morning. They took samples, blood samples, stool samples. He was having black stool. So he was bleeding from somewhere in the upper GI tract. That was the worry. And so that's why I'm just kind of okay, did he not have something like E. coli or Giardia or something that they could kill? Maybe he actually has a stomach ulcer or some kind of bleed. Maybe he's in surgery. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to be calm, and over here, there's a giant hurricane right this minute, literally crushing Jamaica. And there are missionaries over there too, and they didn't get them out. And I just am thinking about their moms and how worried they must be. Oh my goodness. And all of the anxiety and the stress is just building. And another difficult thing that I had to deal with this week is the person who caused all of my stress back in the beginning of the year, who I had to go to a lot of therapy in order to recover from, and I gained a lot of weight. I haven't really given you guys all of the details about that story because I don't really want to give her that much credit for the situation that I am in, but suffice it to say, my son moved out with her and moved in with her, and I haven't seen or spoken to her since January 31st, even though she lived in my house until the end of April. That's as much details I'm going to give here. I have given a lot more on TikTok lives, but I get nervous about sharing it. Yeah, I want to share it, but I don't feel like I am safe to share it on here, if you know what I'm saying. I need to protect my son, and he's with her, so there's that. Regardless, my son knows that I don't want to see her, and he has made it clear to me, I thought, because I believe what people say, but you know, he has a memory like this big, so he maybe doesn't even remember telling me that I could invite him to things and she wouldn't come. She didn't want to come anyway, and so I could invite him to things, and I could feel safe that I would know she was not coming to my house. And that, so I invited him to come to the pumpkin patch with us this week, and also to come to the Halloween party, which tomorrow you will see in the vlog. Suffice it to say, he brought her to our Halloween party. I was not very happy about it. And I don't even know what to say, because like the words are escaping me. She literally came in and took hugs, and I do mean took, because there is not a soul in my family who wants to hug this woman. Took hugs from everyone in my family and went to come and take a hug from me. And we're far past that. We're far past me pretending that I am going to ever entertain the idea of a relationship with her in any way. My son can do what he wants, and I love my son. And so I'm not going to say she can't come to family parties, but the fact that she tried to hug me, like, no. Like, are you serious? Like, no. The girl hasn't even admitted to doing anything wrong, also has never apologized. I have been praying so hard for forgiveness for this girl, and it's going to take decades, I'm afraid. I can forgive the situation. I can forgive what she did. But that doesn't mean that I have to be like, oh, we're palsy-walsy, friendsy-wetsy. We're hugging each other. No. Like, on what planet? No. No. That ain't happening. Suffice it to say, it was very annoying and stressful, and I wasn't very happy about that either. So I'm just going to get into I've already talked way too long, as usual. I'm just going to get into the results, because I know that's what you actually care about. I know you don't really probably care about all the nitty-gritty details about what is going on in my life every week, but there's always something, ain't there? Oh, yeah, always something. Okay, so I'm just going to get right into it, and I will start with the weigh-ins, because I know you probably only care about that anyway, and it was kind of bad. So here we are. Started off the week. So last Tuesday, I was 242.1. The next day, I was 243.7. Then 241.8. That was the lowest weight I saw all week on the scale, which got me really excited because I saw the 1 and I was so happy, and I thought, oh my gosh, the scale is still moving, but no, it just messed with my brain. 243.4, 242.5, 243.2, 242.3, and then we ended the week on 242.5, which week to week means I gained 0.4 of pounds. On average, though, I went down from the average last week was 243.5, and this week was 242.8 for a loss of 0.7. So if I'm going by averages, technically it's a loss week. So, I mean, it's not the best. Basically, it just kind of held the same. And normally that probably wouldn't surprise me or make me feel any kind of way, because like when I step on the scale, I don't have like any kind of feelings. Like if I were to gain 6 pounds, I would be kind of annoyed probably, but like I also don't like set my mental state for the day based on the number on the scale. That's why I like to keep I just like it as data, and I like to do the averages, and I like to see it every day. All right. And last week was really good despite having been really stressed out. So there's that. Also, the week coming up soon, like probably not this week, but maybe the beginning of next week, I might gain weight because of ovulation. Also, I'm in perimenopause, so who the heck knows? So the weigh-in wasn't that great. Basically, I'm saying I stayed the same, which is the actual truth. I stayed the same all week. The thing that had me really frustrated, well, I'll get to that in a second. That's going to be my food. So let me give you the basics. I did do my measurements. This was in 2 weeks. So last week and this week, I forgot to do them last week. I'm down in my right arm a half an inch, which is awesome because my arms never change, and a quarter in my right or my left arm. And my waist went down a half an inch again, and my lower abs went down a whole inch. So that's nice. It is nice to see the inches moving down, even when the scale is kind of messing with your head, you know? So that's why I recommend doing them. And I try so hard to remember to do them every week. And I definitely will do them next week for the 3-month update. But that's where I'm kind of sitting for the week on inches lost. My steps were kind of abysmal, and of course I can't track my clogging class. That was really fun this week, and I really enjoyed it, and I went on 1 walk this week. So I had 1 day where I got over 5,000 steps plus my clogging day. I'm not even going to go over the steps because it's pitiful. Like, and I still haven't gotten myself a watch. People keep asking me like why I don't buy like one of those like cheap Fitbits. As you guys know, I've had people here buying me Fitbits before. I just break them, and that's the reason I haven't bought one. I'm kind of holding out, trying to decide if I want to go for the Amazfit Helio, which is Amazon's version of the Hume Band, or actually wait until I can afford the Hume Band. And I was torn between buying the Hume Band with my medical money or buying something else, and I actually ended up buying a treadmill because I felt like I'm not going to get my exercise going if I don't have something to do in the house. I'm also thinking about doing some Zumba. I know this is all cardio, and I'm trying really hard to get my brain wrapped around doing some lifting, but it's just not my wheelhouse, and I feel weird doing it, and I think it's going to be a minute before I get to that point, especially with there's always so much going on in my life. I feel like I have so many pressures of things I should be doing, and I can't even do the things that I have to do. So it's like I have to decide like what I can actually accomplish. And so that's what I decided to get, a treadmill. It's supposed to come tomorrow, so we will see how that goes. I could have done a brand deal to get it, and I didn't. I just didn't want the stress of having to do a brand deal over it as well. I'm still working on my things for Brello Health, and I'm not sure what they really want from me. And so it's kind of like stressful in and of itself because they want me to do something different than every other company I've ever seen advertising, and so simple and seems wrong because it's so simple. So my brain's been kind of tied up in knots over that as well. And let's just go over the calories because that's where I'm really struggling. I only had 1 day this week where I felt like I had a handle on my calories, and that was the day after shot day. Every other day, I felt like I was on the struggle bus trying to keep my calories low. And really up until now, despite the first couple of weeks, which we know were weird, I did keep my calories in check on those weeks, but like those don't count because it wasn't just like natural. So what I've been doing is I've been eating and then tracking. And basically from week 2 until last week, week 10, I've been intuitively, naturally eating under 1,600 calories without having to really try hard. At the end of last week, I really started to struggle, and I all of a sudden was feeling not satiated and all, like just on the struggle bus. And before that, I really haven't felt like I couldn't keep my calories in check. And this week, I was so excited because the day after shot day, I literally ate the lowest I've eaten on the entire time I've been on it, which was 1,200 calories, which, I mean, I didn't even plan to do that. It just kind of happened, and I was like, whoa, okay. But every single other day in the entire week, I have been on the struggle bus trying to keep my calories at a reasonable level. So, for example, on Tuesday, which was shot day, my calories were 1,857. But I didn't take my shot until the night, right? So then the next day was Wednesday, it was 1,230. And then Thursday, 1,606. And then 1,683, as you can see, they're starting to creep up. Till Saturday, the day we went to the pumpkin patch. And it was the day he told me that she was coming to our house, or to our party. That day, so maybe that was it. Maybe it was the stress and anxiety. I don't know. 1917. And then Sunday, which was the day of the party, 1905. And then yesterday, which I didn't have any parties or anything like that to make an excuse, 1852. That wasn't even intentional, and I did not even realize I was doing it. Like I said, I've been tracking after I eat. So my food to me, to my head, to me, felt the same. Like it felt like I was eating the same calories. But then when I added it up, it was more. So I don't really understand like how that happened, because it still felt kind of the same. But yet my calories went up in order for me to feel enough satiation to feel okay. Which I wouldn't say I was totally sated either. So I don't know what to do. If I should go up another half, or if I should just go all the way up to the 6.6, which is what I was supposed to be on for the last 4 weeks. This is the last week that I was supposed to be on 6.6. And then next week, I'm supposed to go up to 8.8. That's the schedule Brello's physicians gave me. But I've been kind of just doing my own thing. I stayed at 4.4 for a couple of weeks. I stayed at 5 for 3 weeks. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I won't decide until the last minute. And so you guys won't know until next week, because it'll be in next week's vlog what I decided to do. And hopefully I'll know about my son. And hopefully it's not bad news. And hopefully not going to fall apart. I'm tempted to give myself a big dose just in case of that. It really does help me to not fall apart. I am so much more calm. In fact, I wasn't even worrying about him at all, even knowing about the blood in his stool, even knowing that he was in a very dirty environment at the hospital. I have just been able to have such calmness over it until all of a sudden in the last 2 hours when I've messaged him like, hey, any updates? And he's not even seeing the messages. So then I'm starting to go in full-blown panic. And so is his sweet girlfriend, by the way, who is just like losing it. She didn't even get to talk to him because he's taken her off our telephone calls because I think it's getting hard for him to see her every week and still stay focused on the mission. So she didn't even get to like see that he was okay, like physically. She didn't get to like talk to him like I did. Anyway, that's my whole update. I don't have anything else to add. I know it's kind of boring. Well, it's not boring. I don't even know why I say that. Boring in the weight loss category because nothing really happened this week. Boring because I can't tell you what I'm going to do with my dose. Boring because, I don't know. It's not that inspiring. But let me just remind you. Weight loss is not linear. Weight loss is not something that you figure out and then all of a sudden magically you're repaired for life. If that was the case, I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to you. About this anyway. It's an ongoing battle every minute. And the people who don't understand that, I had someone come on here literally and give me the hardest time. Someone who is literally me. She's literally older. She's literally tried eating keto. She's tried eating carnivore. She's tried all of the things and none of them are working. And she even tried Ozempic and it didn't work. And she is giving me a hard time for taking a GLP-1 because I know how to do it. Do I look like I know how to do it? Do I look like I am confident in my ability to know exactly how to lose weight and stay skinny? No. And guess what? All of us who have been obese are all facing this battle together. Please, can we just all support each other in what we need to do to make this happen? All of those who are choosing bariatric surgery, all of those who are going on restriction diets, all of those who are going on GLP-1 medications because they're finally readily available to us. Can we all just stick together and support each other in our journeys and love each other and support every decision and not have to come on and like shame people for stuff? I don't know. Maybe she's just jealous because I lost the weight and now I'm using a GLP-1 and it's working. And she's frustrated because nothing seems to work for her, which my heart goes out to you. I know how hard it is. What I have portrayed on this channel may not be the real reality of what it's like. I try really hard to be so transparent and honest. When I came back on here, I expected a lot of flack for trying a GLP-1, and I've been really grateful that the only really bad thing that's happened to me is a couple whiners and a lot of subscriber loss. I don't really care about any of that. Like, I was kind of broken a little bit by this girl who literally had to try and shame me because I don't want to fight anymore without help. I have a lot of years left to live. I hope to live to the ripe old age of 90, like all my grandmas before me. And frankly, that's 40 years more of life that I am going to be facing this beastly freaking challenge every day. I'm not making any excuses. I'm telling it like it is. There's no excuses to make. It is not easy. And anyone who thinks that it is needs to take a hike. And those of you who know it's not easy should freaking support. Because, like, why am I even here then? What's even the point of this? We're the same. Your struggles are my struggles. There is nothing special about me. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Thank you to God. I know my son's gonna be okay. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow.